The people you follow determines how far you will go. The people you surround yourself with will determine how far you will go. Surround yourself with good people. Surround yourself with good people. Remember, Elisha followed Elijah until Elisha was ushered in by Elijah to the office of the prophet. Elisha followed Elijah, and now because Elisha followed Elijah, Elisha was ushered in by Elijah to the office of the prophet. That is why when Elijah was about to leave, then Elisha asked for the double portion of Elijah. And that time Elijah was going, then Elisha received the double portion of Elijah. And now Elisha was able to operate in the prophetic like Elijah, because already Elisha knew how Elijah was walking, knew how Elijah was doing things, knew how Elijah was praying. So Elisha started to pray like Elijah, because Elisha was walking with Elijah. Everywhere Elijah was going, Elisha was accompanying him. Now that makes him to understand the steps of Elijah. When Elisha was ushered in to the office of the prophet, then it was very easier for Elisha to operate, because now Elisha has copied many things from Elijah. Elisha knew that Elijah, when he was walking up, he went in prayer. So Elisha knew the steps of Elijah. When Elisha was asking Elijah to get the double portion of him, then it was very easier, because now Elisha already understands the office, understands how the prophets works. Hallelujah. Do you remember the story of David? David was anointed to be the king. David did not know how to operate in the office of the king. Now it was the opportunity. David had the opportunity to stay with the king Saul. So in that place, when David was staying with the king Saul, now David was running how to rule the nation. Now, I tell you, now when David was living with the King Saul, it was the time for preparation. You can never operate in the office that you don't know. Hallelujah. That is why if you are called to be a prophet, then it is good also to have the mentor who already is in the prophetic. Now, it is better if you are called to the office of the prophet. Now, it is better if you are called into the office of the prophet. You need a mentor who is in the office of the prophet, so that you can know how the prophets operates. Do you know, even if you are gifted to be a prophet, you need to be mentored? Because now, when you are a prophet, you are new in the office. Remember the gift of the prophet. When God starts to speak, when God starts to show things, God can show things randomly. But when you have the mentor, then the mentor will usher you in to the place where you will inquire the wisdom to interpret everything that you are being received, every revelation that you are being received. Because, for example, God can reveal you at the weakness of certain pastor or the certain man of God. Now, without wisdom, you can go and start talking everything about him, everything about him. You will start talking with people about him. You know what God has spoken concerning this pastor. This pastor is not good, whatever this. But if you are being mentored, you will be able to know how now to represent this message or what next, because God has revealed these things to you. But what next? Hallelujah. God can reveal things to you, but now it determines how you will interpret it. The message can be correct and the message can be accurate and the message can be very true, but the problem to interpret it to the individual, to interpret it to the people who are concerned, you need to understand or you need to apply wisdom. That is why it is good and better to be in a mentorship class. Even if you are a prophet, it is good to have the mentor who can mentor it. Oh my God. Many people who are called by God to the office of prophetic, most of them that are failing and are foreign, it is because they lack what we call wisdom. They lack mentorship. They lack, there is a knowledge that they lack. That is why, because when God calls you and when God starts to reveal things to you, now it is you to apply the wisdom to interpret everything that God has revealed to you. If it is true dreams, you can be able to interpret it. Now that's why you need anything you need is how to interpret it. God can reveal to you everything, but now what He will determine is how you will interpret it.